Going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So today we talk about some roster moves, getting down to 85 players. They had to do that by 1,600 a day. Um, and then we're gonna talk about some practice, and then I want to get into some of the position battles and where they stand going into about 3 weeks into training camp after our first preseason game. So, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like to hear what I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So like I said, had to get cut 5 guys today. No surprise, some of these guys' names: Tucker Fisk, tight end, linebacker Richard Smith, cornerback Trey Webb, punter Seth Vernon, and they put place cornerback Cornell Armstrong on the IR. Those the 5 people. It's never easy cutting guys. Like I said, these guys go through OTAs, they go through off-season program, go through starter training camp, and then you have to, make business decisions. You can only have fit 3-man roster, 16 practice squad. So these not gonna be the first ones that get cut. They're just to start. So now that you guys can start to see that it's the real deal, they need to start making sure they starting to stack their practices, stack their days, and start to, impress these coaches to try to at least um, have them guys bring them back on the practice squad. So that's one of these things these guys need to be looking for. So that's enough with the roster cuts. Going down to 85. The Falcons actually off tomorrow. Um, then they have another practice. Then they go to New Jersey to practice with the New York Jets to get ready for that Monday night game. That's going to be exciting for the guys to get another joint practice. Actually got 2 this year. One with the Jets and then one with the Jacksonville Jaguars back at Flowery Bench. So that's going to be exciting. All right, so guys, what I really want to talk about today, um, just some of the position battles. It's a lot of storylines coming into training camp. It's been about 3 weeks. We don't have a preseason games, and then we're just going to talk about some of those storylines that we all had questions about. We kind of got an idea of some of the answers, some of those questions. Some still up in the air, but right now we kind of got a good idea on some of those position battles and where a lot of players stand at this point in time right now. So, um, based off the open practice, it was great being there. It was a lot of people there. Um, I thought the team had an awesome practice. Um, it was a full training camp practice. It was not a scrimmage or anything like that. They still in training camp mode. They came out in pads and they did all that stuff. But it was one of those training camp practices that had 707 individual um, drills against one another, 11 on 11, um, 2 minute offense, red zone. Um, they did a lot of different things in that practice, and I thought we had a good fanfare there. Everybody was there, everybody was motivated, and then everybody enjoyed the practice of the Atlanta Falcons. But let's get into some of these storylines that we talked about when training camp started. One of the storylines, of course, was the quarterback position. I think at this point in time, it's really not a battle. I think we know that Marcus Mariota is going to be the day one starter. However, that does not mean that Desmond Ritter has played bad. I think it's a good thing for Desmond Ritter to sit behind Marcus Mariota um, and learn the game. But I think Desmond Ritter has hold his own. He's been doing a great job. And I have no quarrels with him being our backup. So if Marcus Mariota does go down, because does have injury history, knock on wood, I don't think he's. Hopefully, he stay healthy this year. But if he has to go down and miss some games, um, I'm confident that Desmond Ritter could come in and keep us afloat. The way he has performed so far, I still think he need to sit and learn the game a little bit more before he's out there. But at this point in time, I think he has did a great job being a rookie coming in his first um, action um, in a game. I thought he was put in a lot of different situations. Of course, it's some things that he could definitely work on, but you know that that 44 game that he won in college, it definitely showed his experience, his maturity, that he's definitely able to go out and actually play in the NFL. Um, the wide receiver battle. I think the wide receiver battle is very interesting. We talked about it. Um, I did my projections a while back. Of course, three of my guys have not changed. I still think Drake London, Brian Edwards, and Alumde Sakiz is definitely is a lock to make the team. Um, but it's two guys that's been been showing up more to me than a lot of other guys, especially when I saw in the open practice, what I saw in the game, preseason game, and that's Cardell Hodge and Demir Bird. I think those would be the other two guys. And then if the Falcons decide to keep a six, it's going to be up to um, guys like a Frank Darby, like a Auden Tate, like a Geronimo Ellison. Um, I think Tyshawn James has really hurt himself. He keep even in practice, he's dropping passes. He cannot um, get off cover to make plays. I haven't seen really him make any plays at this point in time, so I think Tyshawn James could definitely be the receivers on the outside. However, Frank Darby, he had a couple of flashes in the practice the other day, and he also had a couple of flashes in the preseason game. But Jared Barnhart and Stanley Berryhill is the other two guys that I think that has made dividends for themselves. I think they definitely is going to make the practice squad, if anything, if not one of the roster spots. Um, but the two veterans that's really uh, I guess they're solid guys, but they really have not flashed to me, and that's Auden Tate and Geronimo Allison. Geronimo Allison had a couple plays in the preseason game. He had a drop as well. So things like that, to me, being a veterans, you can't afford to make mistakes like that, especially when you got young, hungry guys behind you, and they making plays. Like I said, like a Jared Barnhart, like a Stanley Berryhill, guys like that definitely coming in, making their bones and stuff like that. So right now, for me, like I said, I think it's a 5-man lock, and that's going to be Drake London, Brian Edwards, Lumde Sakis, Demir Bird, and Cardell Hodge. And then the other, if they decide to keep six, it's going to be up for grab for those other spots. Still a lot of time left. A lot of these guys got things to show. You rooting for a guy like Frank Darby because he was a draft pick and you like his energy around, but he's got to be able to show something on film in the game and stand out to be a difference maker. Then we're gonna go to the O line position. I think the left guard position has been solidified. I don't think Jalen Mayfield is been in as a starter, so I think Wilkerson has won that spot. Um, I don't think we um surprised about that at this point in time. I think he just been there the whole time. He started all the snaps in preseason. Um, in practice, again, he was still the number one spot. So I'm not surprised. Um, Jalen Mayfield still have a lot of work to do, but um, he's definitely, I think, he's going to make the team. But right now, I think Wilkerson has locked up that left guard spot. The same to say about the right tackle spot with Caleb McGarry, Jermaine Ifedi. I think it's going to be the backup, but at this point in time, I think Caleb McGarry has shown that he's going to be able to keep his right tackle spot right now. I do still like the competition they brought in to push him, um, but it seems like at this point in time, Caleb McGarry is gonna keep that right tackle spot. So now we got to make sure that he's ready for Cam Jordan for when we play the Saints in week one. That center position is still up for grabs. Of course, Matt Hennessy came out and he started game one of the preseason. But if you look at the depth chart, the way they laid it out, it was a lot of seniority. Um, the way Arthur Smith liked to, some of these young guys have to earn their stripes before he's just going to put you in the starting lineup, things like that. So, but Matt Hennessy actually got the start. Um, I, I suspect that Drew Dalman is probably going to get the start in week two preseason against the New York Jets. So we just to stand by to see if that, and that's the case. We know that competition is still going. The next position is defensive backfield. We talked about D. Alford. I think D. Alford is definitely solidifying one of those cornerback spots. Like I said, he's just a playmaker coming from the CFL. This guy just plays hard every day. Um, I just love his competition and the way he battles. I think Mike Ford has done a great job filling in for Isaiah Oliver. Um, at the same time, Oliver is actually doing some cross training at safety, and we know that Dean Pease like to mix and match his positions anyway, so that's a good thing. The way um, Isaiah Oliver is doing some cross training at safety. Um, so we know, I don't know his timetable actually being back out at the nickel position. Look like he's still in that knee brace. Seen him out on the field. Maybe straight line. I don't know if he ready to go side to side yet. So we need to be looking at that and see if he's going to be ready to go for week one. We still got about 3 weeks away for that, but it's going to be interesting to see Ozzy Oliver going to be ready to go for week one. If not, like I said, um, Mike Ford, and believe it or not, D. Alford could be sliding himself in that position the way he's been playing. Of course, we still got Darren Hall playing outside out there with Casey Hayward and AJ Terrell. So, in those safety position, Jalen Hawkins did come back to practice today. However, they still got Dean Marlowe filling in that starting safety role. So Jalen Hawkins probably not back 100%. I don't think he lost his position. I think he was just coming back because he did not play in the game Friday for some kind of injury. So just getting back into the swing of things where they put him back out there with the number ones. Um, Richard Grant has been holding his own. He's been that safety spot since day one, and it seemed like he's not going anywhere. The linebackers. We're not going to talk about the veteran linebackers because I think we know about Michael Walker and Rashawn Evans. But I do want to talk about Doran Etchich and Nate Lehman. Both of those guys impressed on Friday in the preseason game. I think this might be one of the second best, deepest positions we got besides our defensive backfield, a linebacker position. Both of those guys can play. We have not even seen Troy Anderson play. Hopefully, he's able to get out there this week. He is back at practice. Hopefully, we get to see him against the Jets on Monday and see what he's all about. We want to be able to see that guy get on the field and show his speed. So that's what we can't wait to see. So I really believe that linebacker competition is still up for grab between Doran Etcher and Nate Landman. So we have to just wait to see. Our outside linebacker positions, we know about Lorenzo Carter, we know about Okendeji, we know about um Abe Ebikadi, we know about D'Angelo Malone. I think Quentin Bell makes some great plays as well in Friday game. Go back and look, he had some decent pass rush as well. Um, that's one of the other guys I picked to make the roster. So um, I still see him as being that last outside linebacker spot for the Atlanta Falcons. And then last but not least, our D line. The biggest news I think is Marlon Davidson still not on the field. Um, like I said again, the biggest thing for Marlon Davidson is to be healthy. He's just really hurting his stock. He's going to make the team, but This could definitely be his last season with the Atlanta Falcons if he cannot be able to stay on the field. Um, we had so much potential and so much um, high hopes to see what he's going to be able to do, but he's got to be on the field to be able to show. We still don't know what actually his injury all about, not what his timeline is, but um, he's still not out on the field today. And then Taquan Graham is I think is almost about to solidify that starting role on the opposite side of Grady Jarrett. So um, that's just one of the things that um, coming in his second year, that year one to year two jump, he's definitely showing that he has the potential to be that. So so guys, those are the storylines that we came into camp. Had questions about. Um, And some of those questions have been answered. Some have not. We still have a lot of questions, and some of those positions, um, the running back position, I think is still is hot and heavy as well. All those guys have been playing well. Like I said, I envy the coaching staff and the front office deciding who they definitely want to keep in some of these positions. Um, Quadra Allison, who I had on the outside, maybe probably has solidified himself. If he run like he just ran this past Friday, I think they gonna have to give him a roster spot, which means that um, who are they taking out? Are they actually going to keep five running backs? So we just have to see um, at that position. But maybe they cut another position. Like I said, they might keep five receivers instead of six. Um, Considering that Cordell Patterson, could be looked at as a receiver slash running back as well. So, just a thought to look at from that position. But like I said, guys, those are the storylines. Those are some of the things um, that we all had questions about coming into training camp. 3 weeks in, after the first preseason game, after the first cuts, um, still some positions that's up for grabs, which is in a way is a good thing because we want to see these guys continue to compete. But at some point, I think after this second preseason game, um, the coaching staff got to decide to start to lock in and see who's actually going to be our starters and our first line backups to make sure these guys starting to get ready for week one against the Saints because it's time to go. So that last preseason game is definitely for guys on the fringes. I don't think it should be a time for trying to still decide who's going to be started at positions. I think 4 weeks should be enough. 2 games, a joint practice, um, over 20 some practices at training camp at some point in time. Um, Hopefully the coaching staff got some idea of who they have in this in this locker room, and they can decide about starters and some of those key positions that we've been talking about. Of course, towards the end, those last rosters, going up to 53, it's going to always still be a competition. But those are guys you expect to see in that third preseason game before these guys get ready to get locked in for the New Orleans Aints. So guys, that's all I have. You let me know what you think about, like I said, some of those storylines that we thought. Um, are they where you thought they was gonna be, or or do you want to see more from some of these guys? And this is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.